Welcome, Soulful Heroes, to another Soulful Conversation. Whether you're watching this live or the recording, welcome. So glad to have you here. And it's my pleasure to share with you today my beloved friend, David Ardelean. Welcome, David.
How's it going?
Going pretty well. I can't think of anybody, David, that I would rather speak with who more embodies the art of living passionately than you. So that's what we're going to talk about today.
Wow, thank you, thank you. That's a great honor. Thank you.
So help us understand, because when we met, you were teaching
That's
in a
right.
high
That's
school
right.
setting,
That's right.
um, and you were really like a gifted teacher. Like the stories that you would tell me about how you inspired and the things that you would do to inspire
That's
your
right.
10th graders to learn about to be interested in learning about biology were really inspiring. It's like I wish I would have had a teacher like you when I was in high school.
Yeah.
Um, and then, so tell us a little bit about that process and how you transformed or moved into what you're doing now as a conscious entrepreneur.
Sure. So I guess the story goes back to how it was when I first started, or how I first got into teaching. There was a massive shortage of science and math teachers down in Miami-Dade, and I thought to myself, how can I best show up in the neighborhood, in the community, and if I'm going to do this, which I could do this. I didn't go to college for it, so I didn't, but there's trainings you can do, and you develop your skills as an educator afterward. But I said, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to be that teacher that they talk about at the 10-year reunion. So I'm going to be like super cool and hit all my stuff, and it's going to be a great experience every day. The kids are going to be excited to come to class. So I had that calling, and I did that for the longest time, and I loved it, and I excelled in it, and I plateaued in it, and it just made sense to try something different at another point in my life. But
Yeah.
it really was. It was having that impact on the next generation, and being able to say something positive to brighten up, or to, improve someone's trajectory is an honor. And I'm still connected through social media with a bunch of the students, which are now young adults with their own families and stuff, which is pretty cool, to see that next stage of their life. And
And they do speak about Mr. A in their high school reunions.
that's right. That's right, Mr. A. Yeah, yeah. I made it. I made it to a couple of mentions. And at least when they flip through their yearbooks, they see some great memories and some great moments that we share together. Because you got to understand, science and math; those are like intimidating, stressful topics where everyone's like, oh, it doesn't add up, or it doesn't make sense. I just don't understand electromagnetic forces and things like that. But if you got someone cool that kind of diffuses and takes away the edge of how difficult it is, and then just explains it in everyday stuff, and uses music or games or different ways to kind of relate to it, they're like, oh, it's like that. And you're like, yeah, exactly. So
Yeah, I think that's what you did so beautifully is that you managed to convey your own passion about biology and the environment to these kids who are just being like trained basically to pass a test so they can
yep,
get
yeah,
into
yeah,
college. And
yeah,
you managed
exactly,
through gamification and creativity
yeah,
and using music and different things like that to
yeah,
really share that sense of passion with them, which I think is so beautiful.
yeah, yeah. It was a lot of fun, and I had a lot of energy, and you have to be. I mean, if you're there an hour, before the kids show up, and you're there until after the kids show up, and anyone who's a parent knows how much energy is required to raise kids. It was a great first career in my life, and I'm grateful for all the memories and moments, and everything, the legacy left behind.
And so now
Yeah,
you've moved to the west coast of Florida,
that's
Chokoloskee
right.
Island, which even a lot of local South Floridians don't know. about Chokoloskee,
Oh yeah.
um,
It's
where you're running a marina and a restaurant, Havana restaurant. Tell us a little bit about that. Tell us first, a little bit of the history about Chokoloskee.
Yeah, so that's a really cool little corner of the state of Florida. Um, Southwest Florida is still pretty undeveloped. They call it the Paradise Coast. It has a lot of the national park, Everglades National Park. It has the Big Cypress Everglades, the preserve, Fakahatchee Strand, Picayune, some old growth logging forests, and just frontier. It still has that vibe of the wild. You come out here and you see satellites in the sky. It's so dark. You can see a lot of amazing things, and it's sequestered. It's hidden. It's where the 10,000 islands end, and the thick of Everglades National Park happens, and
And it has
it's
the
like
feel of like maybe the Florida Keys maybe 30 years ago, something like
that's
that.
right. Before the Florida Keys got overly commercialized, and there was a different pace of life back then. You still have that vibe here. This is a Florida heritage site, so this island has been inhabited by modern Americans since the Civil War, and was an outpost agricultural island for Key West, which is just south of us. Well, Marathon is just south of us, but then just south of Marathon is uh, is the Keys, and it's an old Florida town. I mean, it's still people stop and talk to one another, and everyone knows the stray dog that's running around. They know who it belongs to, and everyone's it's a different pace. It's a different vibe. Stone crabbing is a big deal here. So fishing, agriculture, sightseeing, lots of bird watching. That you get people from around the world that come down here. Um, and then some of the fun ways of it, enjoying the national park, trails, kayaking, canoeing, fishing, all those all those aspects of it. So that's what's so nice about it, and it's kind of aligned to my biology, ecology, science, my passions ever since I was young. So it kind of made sense. The opportunity came up, and I said, "Hey, let's try it. Let's do it. It's gonna be a dream come true." And so far, so good. So
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, that it gives you the opportunity to weave in your passion for the environment,
yeah,
with that love of people and uh, community building, that you're actually being able to do that.
yeah.
All of that.
Yeah, and it really does. It doesn't feel like work. Like when you show up every day and you just be you, and you're fully self-expressed, and you're comfortable, and you're making a difference, and you're talking to people, and you're paying the bills and all that, and creating jobs, and it doesn't feel like work. It doesn't. It's work. Trust me, it's work. But it doesn't feel like work because you're totally living in the zone. You're living passionately. You're excited about it, and oh, I mean, just I'm super excited because now it's the end of January, and there's terrapins hatching throughout the Everglades. Baby little terrapins, the blue terrapins that when the light shines on them, they look like diamonds. They glisten. They're the cutest little turtles, and they're here on the island. And people come in and they show pictures of it, and throughout the Everglades. It's every month there's something different and fun and new, and it just reminds me of why I'm here. It's cool. It's a really cool. It's a cool gig, I gotta say. So
And I think that like you're one of these people who like were living your purpose when you were teaching, that you're just a natural born teacher.
mhm.
I know that since it hasn't even been a year since you got the marina and the restaurants even much more recent. Do you foresee, or how do you foresee a time as you're able to have more free time and not putting out little fires every day, where you can weave in your gifts as a teacher into this new venture?
Yeah, I mean, I think my passion, teacher, I don't want to say I'm a teacher no more because I no more. Listen to me. I'm not I feel like a naturalist more so than a teacher. Like now in my career, like I look at the natural world and I'm more likely to speak to it and to speak to the trends or to the cycles of it than to actually teach you about, the electromagnetic reactions between this and that. So I'm not teaching to the test anymore. I'm kind of like speaking to life nowadays, which is a different tone. So I love it here because yeah, I love it. All around us down here, people come and they try to reconnect with nature and with themselves and each other, and I get to be a curator of that, through at the restaurant, through a delicious meal where people break bread and gather and sustain their bodies, or at the motel and the marina here when they want to rest and need some guidance on, the local airboat captains that take you through the old growth mangrove forest. Like, where do you go for that? And like I could speak to that, and where people want to go kayaking on the Turner River, where you have, you know, orchids dripping from these mangrove trees, which is magic, absolutely magic. Multiverses, like layers within layers within layers of just an experience of an afternoon, and I can speak to that too. So in a way, I kind of am teaching them about it, but I'm also kind of just explaining, the stuff that we have in our neighborhood that's here, in the millions of acres all around us.
Well,
So
I think you're teaching by being, and in the same way that you used to do with your 10th graders, you're imbuing these tourists that are come, these visitors, with that sense of love and that profound passion you have for the natural world around you. It's just you can't
yeah,
help it. That's what you do.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and all of that probably stems back to the beginning of how I understand the world. Um, I believe that we are all created by the Creator, personally in the image and likeness of the Creator. And when God went to create the natural world around us, He did the same. She expressed herself through the creativity of the birds and the bees and the plants and the trees. And God doesn't make mistakes. So there in itself, the way that that tree interacts with the seasons, with the longevity and the lifespan of that tree, what it can see over the decades, over the millennia that it's growing, it has a different relationship with the natural world, and that's there as a teachable moment, right? Like, what can I learn from this? What can I learn from this organism that's behaving in this way? Like the dolphins down here, right? When they circle, like totally like a National Geographic, exactly the way that Oprah explains it on Life is how you see it here. Like they make these circles and they tap their tail into the mud to kind of round up all of the mullet fish into the center, and then the other dolphins just sit on the outside of the circle with their mouth right open, and the mullet jump from the center to the outside. It's it's incredible how like these dolphins had developed this intelligence, right, to do that. Or like the black hooded vultures that are here, that migrate through, or these brown pelicans, simple, right here on the docks all the time. Every afternoon when the fishermen's come in, that they know that there's going to be scraps and snacks for them, so they come and like it's teachable. Like, what can I learn from these brown pelicans that are coming by every day? So it's a really cool thing to kind of not necessarily look at the natural world and try to exploit it like we once did before, like what compounds can be mass produced or commercialized from this creature. But kind of like I look at it and I can say, hey, this is this is pretty cool that this, bromeliad blooms in December because these beetles that come through as pollinators are able to, to come at this bromeliad. So little things like that. It's just kind of like secrets of the universe, like all around you, and you just have to have, your eyes wide open to see it from that different point of view or that different perspective that someone who's immersed in it can speak to it. And it's lucky for me. I get to do that. I get
Yeah.
to do that, not as often as I want to, but still get to do it. I still get to do it. It'll be one day. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
one thing is watching it on your TV screen. Another one is like right before your eyes
Oh yeah.
in third dimensional reality. I heard you say that God doesn't make mistakes, but I do have a couple of bones to pick with the creatrix or the creator. I get roaches, I get flies, but mosquitoes, come on.
Oh, I know. They're super important in the food scale. I know
But
that
can't
pyramid.
bats eat something else other than
Oh,
mosquitoes?
I know. There's plenty of them. Right now, we're good. We're in the clear, so it's not. It's more of the dry season now. But uh, it, during the summertime, when the bugs are biting, the fish are biting.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. Yeah, that's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so. Yeah.
The other bone that I would pick with the creatrix is that in retrospect, maybe having some kind of an emotional maturity test for humans before they could reproduce might have been a good idea.
Well, then that would take the fun out of the sweet innocence and the naivete that you see from one generation to the next. You know, so
Yeah. So as we intentionally keep these short, around 20 minutes. So I wanted to ask you, like, what have you learned about expressing your purpose and your passion as you have transitioned into this new phase of your life?
what have I learned? Um,
Mhm.
I've learned to breathe and take a deep breath daily and be ready for the unknown because felt like when I was pivoting, I felt like I was confident and an authority and I had say so. Like I felt like a professional that I could pivot. But there's so much that I didn't know that I didn't know. And I just have to constantly keep on learning and growing and breathing through it. Um, be ready because when you are shifting and changing wild like big moves in your life, you're gonna come across challenges and adversaries and conflict and contrast, but that adds to the beauty of it all. It sharpens knives. It makes you better. It makes you stronger. It all kind of adds together to create a beautiful dynamic of your life. Like
Yeah.
it
And
makes you
what else
better.
would you say to somebody who might be watching this, um, maybe stuck in a job that is less than fulfilling
Oh,
on one end of the spectrum to
oh,
sucking the very life force out of them?
yeah.
What would you say to them that might be supportive in terms of taking that leap and following
Mm,
something that is a match
That
with their passion?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Life is short. Listen, life is short.
Yeah.
And where I was 10 years ago versus where I am now is notably different. And I know it'll be different 10 years from now. So you want to be in a place like best case scenario, be in a place that you love, be surrounded by people that you love, feel, that sense of empower, like that purpose that you're self-expressed and best case scenario. And it may not be like that every day, but it's an everyday commitment that you got to make to it. Like today I'm going to do the best that I can with what I got and where I'm at to get a little bit better so that I can do those things that I want to do by doing these things that I have to do to kind of just get through and to go on to the next day. And eventually you just keep on keeping on, keep doing good, keep doing the best that you can. And one day after the next, after the one paycheck, after the next page, and then the next pay, and then the next season, and then it keeps going, and you get to a point where you actually have say so, and you can actually like do and live and jump in the direction that you want to. So to the person that's stuck, oh, oh, you know, take a deep breath and start getting clear about what you want and where you're
Mhm.
at and where you want to be, and just one day at a time. What can I do today to get a little bit closer to doing that? Because to be honest, I didn't know this. I didn't know this for myself at all. But everything I've ever done in my life has brought me to this point where I am today. I mean, the family business of commercial property maintenance when I was a kid, working as an educator, my passion for biology and ecology, my social justice work, like the community stuff that I've done, the politics, like all of those different chapters of that have, in my 20s and 30s, that brought me now to this point where I can actually live life purposefully and powerfully and intentionally on a daily basis. It does come out in the wash. It all, you put all the things together in the pot, you turn on the heat, and then you got to stir the pot a little bit so that it doesn't burn on the bottom, but you end up making that sauce, and it's like people are going to be driving from all over for that criollo sauce or that enchilado sauce or that, that good, because it's got that love and it's got that essence of you in it. So to the person that's stuck, take a deep breath, realize that you too can live the life of your dreams, do the best that you can every single day, and stay committed to that and just keep on keeping on. I know it sounds generic, but I'm telling you, it works. It works. You do it. You follow your heart. You stay true to your heart. Stay true to you know your passion and your vision, and you're constantly living life. That's it. And every day's an adventure. Not always with
Beautifully
gators, but
and passionately expressed. So one last question
yeah.
about passion, and I think passion is something that we all have. It is who we are. It is part of us, but not all of us are in touch with it, and certainly not all of us know how to express it. So, as somebody who who lives so passionately in whatever it is that you're doing, what can you say? Tell us about passion and living passionately.
Who know what some so to answer the question of how to find your passion to someone who's lost it.
Yes,
Like,
like how to uncover it.
all right. So for me, I guess my passion kind of is that it's that it's that moment when you got that song playing and you're just kind of like, hey, this is my groove, this is my, when you hit that spot and you're able to like really like feel it at a deeper level. That's what it means to be passionate about something to me. And how do you find it? You get in touch with your senses. Take a deep breath. Sometimes, I mean, sometimes you got to take a deep breath and take a step out of the busyness to be able to reset, recalibrate, get reacclimated with yourself and who you are and how you are, and redefine yourself and all that jazz, and then get in touch with the things that bring you joy, the things that make you smile, the things that feed your soul. Um, Whatever it is, however it is, my latest expression is through cooking, and I love it. And it's just so much fun. And to see people licking their lips and their fingers as a result of it, like that to me I keep the money. Who needs the money? Just lick your, tell someone how finger licking good it was. Like that's where it's at. Like, yeah, and then the rest will follow. They'll follow your heart, and the rest will follow. So you find that thing that matters, and that brings you joy and gives you energy. Like you'll feel like a burst of energy. Like, ooh, you know, ooh. So yeah, passion. That's it. Live passionately. Live it without regrets. Live it like you're going to live forever, and you meant to do it, and you're giving it your all, and that's it, because life is short, and you may not have a second chance, you know. Second chances, you get them when you're young, right? Like when it's early and you mess up and you're still coloring in pencils. Once you start writing with pen, hey, you got to get the white out. And then, what's that? Where's that at? You know. So yeah, I know. I know.
Thank you, David.
So
Thank you so much for your time. I know you've got a busy day
thank you.
running a marina and a restaurant. Thank you for sharing your passion with us, and thank you
Yeah.
for making the world a better place.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Christian. We'll see you around, brother.
See ya.
Yeah. And come on down to Chekaloski. Yep.